Okay, good evening and welcome to a special night edition of Shulchan Aruch Yomi Simon Reshid Gimel 213. A little busy today, so I'm making it up at night. I told my friend Shmuel Silver over here. In Mosvenu Yom Yomaim Yazveka. If you leave Torah for one day, it leaves you for two. That's not a fair deal, so gotta make it up tonight. All right, Reshid Gimel, only three halachas. Mishiyotze and Motzi Acherim. Talk about being most the other person in a bracha rishona. Could I sit down and have a can of Dr. Pepper? No one's going to drink Coke. And most of my friend who's having Dr. Pepper with me, can I make a shahak motzi him? Of course. No. Not so posh. Aleph, I'll call peros shari dvarim on any fruit or anything, chutz mi pas v'yain, except bread and wine. Even if they're not leaning. We'll talk about leaning in a second, what exactly leaning is and what yeshiva is. At least you have to be sitting. If you want to be moti your friend and your Dr. Peppers, you got to be sitting. The davka pas v'yayin ba'ya seba. If you want to be moti your friend in bread or wine, so you need more than just sitting together. You need to actually be leaning together. Now, haseba is a halacha coming up by Pesach. We'll talk about that more in Ian to lean on. Ian to lean on is actually very apropos wording for this year. So really, technically, there's all the chadchila. If you want to be most of your friend Dr. Pepper, you got to be sitting. Bread or wine, where normally you sit down for a bread meal or you sit down to drink wine with a friend, so you have to be actually leaning. That's in the time of the Gemara. Done. However, Tosfos says, heavy yeshiva kama aseba do. Our sitting is like they're leaning. Well, according to that, done the leislan aseba. We don't have aseba. In chiluk. It doesn't make a difference. When it comes to bread and wine, right? When you're sitting down, our sitting is like they're leaning, so you can motzi other people. If you're standing up, right, you can't be motzi anyone. That should be said that you can be motzi someone as long as you're sitting down or leaning. That's talking about bracha rishona. Bracha achrona tzrichin lechalek lechem v'varach la'atzmo dein zimun lepeiros. Definitely bracha achrona lechatchila you shouldn't be making for somebody else. The only time you should make a bracha for somebody else is when you have a zimun birkas hamazon. When you have three people, so really it's supposed to be the zimun, the person who's leading the zimun benches the whole thing. He's mostly everyone together. Our practice is not to do that, but at least for the beginning of the first bracha to listen to him. And then to start again according to the Ramah. According to Beis Yosef, just start from the second bracha. But according to the Machaber, the Ramah says you should go back to the beginning, which is what we do. But there's no concept of hazmana by peiros for a bracha achrona. Now all this is lechatchila, but if you make a bracha achrona to be mostly your friend, bearing nefashos ala micha, it works. Hagav yesh omrim. The Ramah says the b'chol dvarim chutz mipas v'yayin lo mahani aseba. So right, originally it was a chumrah, pas v'yayin needed aseba, everything else just needed yeshiva. But nowadays at our aseba is really yeshiva. So the only thing that actually works is bread and wine when you sit down. Then yeshiva will be done, right? Are sitting down for us. Therefore, the Ramah says the minhag is when you're drinking fruit, when you're having fruits, or you're drinking Dr. Pepper together. Even if you're sitting down, even if you're leaning, it doesn't make a difference. Well, technically, maybe leaning would be okay, but if you're sitting down, right, that's not good enough, and therefore the minhag is our minhag, like the Ramah, not like the Machaber. You shouldn't be motzi. If you're both having a candy, you shouldn't be motzi him, or you're both having an apple, you shouldn't be motzi in the bracha. Everyone makes their own bracha, as opposed to pras and yayin. If you're sitting down, nowadays the halacha is even the chachila, you can be motzi someone. Maybe that's the preferred way of doing it. We'll talk more about that Ian Delina on Beis. As opposed to Birchas HaMitzvos, for example, mitzvah of shofar, let's say, right? Even if you heard the shofar already, you can be moti someone else in the shofar. However, you can't be moti someone else in the bracha, say shahakol, for someone else drinking Dr. Pepper, if you're not drinking anything. So you have to be eating also, because Birchas HaMitzvos is a concept of arvos, right? I'm responsible for my friend to do mitzvos. So even I was Yotze Shofar, but I have to be motzi him. So I'm sort of mechuyev to say the bracha, right? Al Tkiya Shofar. I'm mechuyev also. So I could say it for him, even though I was already Yotze. Yatza Motzi, it's called Maseches Rosh Hashanah. However, when it comes to Birchas HaNenin, I don't have to eat right now. If I'm not in the mood to eat, it's not a mitzvah to eat. So therefore, you have to both be in the mood to eat and eating right now, and then you can be motzi to someone. Gimel, ein yotze yidei chavasa b'shmias habracha afilu yana amen. You're not yotze by hearing it, even if you answer amen. Elim ken sheshama mitchila atzof. You have to hear the entire bracha. V'niskaven latzis ba yidei chavasa. You also have to have kavanah to be yotze. V'mavarach niskaven gam ken l'asiyah yidei chavasa. Just like all brachos or all things that you want someone to emote to you, brachos are the same thing. You have to have kavanah to be yotze, and the person making the bracha has to have kavanah to be emote to you. I don't think he has to think, all right, I'm being motzi ben tziling in the bracha. No, just, okay, can you be motzi me? Yeah, okay, go ahead and make the bracha. That's the conclusion of today's shir. So again, answering amen is not important, right? It's good to answer amen at the brachos, but if you can't be yotze with the bracha, if you answer amen, it doesn't help. And if you're yotze with the bracha, you don't have to answer amen. You'll be yotze even if you don't answer amen. That is the conclusion of today's share. Stay tuned for Ian Talina. We talk about Talina, exactly this concept of Seba, which comes up by Pesach. I want to talk today. Tosfos over here has brought down in the Shulchan Aruch that nowadays our sitting down in chairs is like Haseba. Where did Tosfos get this from? And is there a concept of there's no Haseba nowadays? So why was it different back then? And now all of a sudden, when did this change? I'll talk more about my perspective, what really proper Haseba is. Ian Talina coming up next.